Prince's last Diddy recording played in trial.
As soon as Prince's voice played, Diddy's face changed. His calm look disappeared. The whole courtroom froze as the late singer's words echoed around. This unexpected recording left everyone stunned. On day 3, shocking new evidence was revealed. No one saw it coming. Hollywood is now filled with suspense.
Cassie said he would get physical. That one male guy who did things with Diddy and Cassie said he witnessed him get physical. Don, so again, we talked about how the domestic charges aren't, what he's being, what he's on trial for. But boy, it's stacking up. And I feel that the jury is going to take that into consideration.
The first Diddy party I went to was at Prince's house. So you want to go to Prince's house to the Diddy party where Tyrese is performing and Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher are swinging on swings. That is what's happening on the other side of the wall. And so the one thing that makes this party different than a Jamie Foxx party or any other celebrity party that wrangles a bunch of young women or guys or whatever too, is that Diddy...
Day 3 of the trial began just like the others. Reporters rushed to get good seats. Celebrities slipped in through side doors. Lawyers organized their files as usual. But something felt different this morning. The air was tense. The courtroom wasn't just full, it was charged. Something big was about to happen. Security was tighter than before. Guards stood in every corner. 4 officers were placed directly behind Diddy's table. That hadn't happened on previous days. A court staff member later said they had special instructions, though no one knew why. Diddy walked in calmly, wearing a sharp navy suit. He smiled at supporters and looked confident. His legal team gathered around him, whispering strategies. He seemed in control, but he didn't notice what was going on at the prosecution's table. 2 tech experts set up equipment that hadn't been seen before. They tested cables and whispered to the lead prosecutor, who kept glancing at Diddy. Something was clearly coming. A reporter later said people were texting each other across the room, trying to guess what the surprise was. When the judge entered, he gave a clear warning. No matter what evidence is shown today, everyone must stay calm. Anyone who disrupts will be removed. The prosecution started normally, reviewing past testimonies. Then suddenly, the lead prosecutor paused. Your Honor, we'd like to present audio evidence recently verified by our forensic team. She held up a small device. The defense objected, saying they weren't informed. The judge allowed it anyway. Then came the moment that changed everything. This is the final private recording made by Prince before his death. The room went silent. Journalists froze. Diddy's smile disappeared. His lawyer grabbed his arm. Whatever was on that tape, it was serious.
Already, I'm really trying to connect the dots here and think like, damn, what if Prince was what if he caught wind of some, I'll just say allegedly, stuff that Diddy might have been doing that seems to be, like, I ain't talking about consensual things, I'm talking about illegal things or whatever. But I'm just like, would Diddy be that dumb to not think that Prince, this celebrity, has cameras in his house as well? So I'm just trying to think, because if Prince has cameras and he's recording stuff, to get some dirt on Diddy, I don't know. I feel like Diddy, with all his cameras that he allegedly had, or no, they actually found cameras.
Problems?
That I don't know, right? What I know is that he was really health conscious. He was a vegan. He didn't abuse alcohol. I didn't know of him abusing drugs. He worked out, so, that also really concerned me, because it made me think that, wow, so you mean you do all these things to take care of yourself and you die so young?
The prosecutor stood up and said, "What you're about to hear was found in Prince's private vault." The courtroom filled with whispers. People leaned forward. Journalists typed fast on their phones. This wasn't just any evidence. It was Prince speaking after his death. The prosecutor explained that the recording was made just weeks before Prince died in 2016. This was never meant for the public, she said. Prince recorded it as protection, sharing what he had seen. Himself. As Prince's voice filled the room, a woman in the third row covered her mouth and cried. It wasn't only hearing him again, it was how he sounded. His voice was soft, full of worry, very different from how he acted on stage. "I'm recording this because I don't know who to trust anymore," he began. Every breath he took was clear. This wasn't a performance. It was raw and honest. Then the mood in the room changed. Prince began listing names, dates, and places. He talked about events at Diddy's homes in Miami and the Hamptons, the same ones earlier witnesses had mentioned. I watched Diddy's face shift. His confident look vanished. His lawyer leaned in, trying to speak to him, but Diddy stared forward, frozen. Prince's voice grew sharper. "What happens at these parties isn't just wrong. It's illegal," he said. "I've seen what goes on. I know who's involved. I've seen people get hurt." Each sentence hit Diddy hard. Prince even described a December 2015 party, naming celebrities who had denied being there. He detailed rooms upstairs, matching the prosecution's earlier claims. The courtroom was silent. Even the judge leaned in. When Prince said he warned Diddy and was told to stay quiet, the prosecutor paused the audio. Everyone looked at Diddy. His hands shook. His face had gone pale. The damage was done.
I wasn't really taking large advances from the recording companies. I was recording the albums myself in my own studio. So the way I looked at it, I owned the work because I paid for it. And I did all the work. I created it, so I felt like it should belong to me. That said, the companies felt otherwise. And they would always hold this contract up and say, "Well, you signed it." And I say, "Well, I understand that. It's not like I want to leave. I just want to, talk about this thing and see if we can't make it more fair." Of course, they wouldn't change, because if they changed, they wouldn't really exist. And that's kind of the situation we're in right today. They're not going to exist much longer. But it's not like we're against them or anything like that. The idea is that we find better ways of working with one another. It shouldn't be a situation where they own the album or the work. We're talking about intellectual copyright. If they're going to be indeed a delivery service, then that's fine. But even FedEx doesn't say that they own the thing that they ship.
Cassie Ventura on the witness stand for a fourth day in the federal criminal trial against hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The defense continuing cross-examination this morning, confronting her with dozens of her own messages, many explicit, hoping to convince the jury she was an eager sexual partner who matched Combs's desires. "I'm always ready to freak off," one message said.
She was into the freak-offs herself and was like a willing participant and was into all the freaky stuff, and essentially that was the crux of what they were trying to do yesterday.
And do you think they proved that or not?
I mean, there's texts like that from 2009. "I'm always ready to freak off." There was some other texts where she was referencing like hitting him up about the FOs, is what they were referring to him. To me, like, yes, this doesn't look good, but at the same time, I think the timeline is crucial here. And these are texts from 2009, man. That was when they were first getting in the relationship. She was young. Obviously, they were in the honeymoon stage, and she was stoked to like, oh my God, I'm with Diddy. I'm living this lavish lifestyle. Of course, she's going to be saying things that she knows will curry favor with.
What shocked the courtroom most wasn't just Prince's words. It was seeing Diddy fall apart right in front of everyone. For 2 days, he had remained calm. When people accused him directly, he didn't react. When photos that could damage his case were shown, he stayed quiet and leaned over to speak calmly with his lawyers. He seemed untouchable. But once Prince's voice filled the room again, everything changed. After the short pause, the recording continued, and Diddy's behavior took a sharp turn. His lawyer, a well-known defender of celebrities, gently placed a hand on his arm to calm him down. But Diddy pulled away suddenly, hard enough to knock over a glass of water. Jurors looked at each other, surprised. The man known for always being in control was starting to break down. A courtroom artist later said she had never seen someone's body language shift so drastically. Diddy's breathing became loud and uneven. Even people in the back could see his chest moving quickly. His eyes moved all around the room as if searching for a way out. The judge watched him closely, clearly seeing that Diddy was on the edge. Diddy kept fidgeting, then reached up and loosened his tie with trembling hands. He leaned in to speak to his team. 3 of his lawyers leaned in fast, clearly alarmed. Prince's voice described a party in Beverly Hills, naming the date and address. When Prince mentioned the location, Diddy jumped to his feet. Not slowly, but like he had been yanked by something unseen. 4 guards moved in fast. His lawyers reached out, trying to keep him seated. As the recording continued, Diddy shouted, "That's a lie!" His voice echoed through the room. "He wasn't even there. None of that happened." The judge slammed the gavel. "Mr. Combs, control yourself, or I will hold you in contempt." The courtroom went silent, except for Prince's voice, still playing. The prosecution's plan was now clear. They had saved this evidence for the perfect moment, and it had worked exactly as intended.
Diddy's team tried to do was show how they had breaks, and she was with Michael B. Jordan and was with Kid Cudi for a minute. But during that time period, she was still having freak-offs with Diddy, and I think that was them trying to show, this wasn't a controlling thing. Here she was, hooking up with other people. She just was into the freak-offs.
I kind of buy that, to be honest.
So...
she is out of the freak-offs then. She is... when she's with Kid Cudi, or allegedly with Michael B. Jordan, she's kind of out of the freak-offs if she wants to be. So why do you keep going back? Yeah. I know it's kind of like a mental, she still loves Diddy. Diddy was jealous about her.
Oh, yeah, because that was another thing that the prosecutors were trying to do, is show that, that they had a very jealous relationship. She would get jealous when he's with Kid Cudi. Also, Kim Porter, Cassie would be jealous of Kim Porter.
Right.
Trying to show that, Cassie, you were in love with this guy. That's why you were jealous.
Right.
So, this was a real relationship.
It was just interesting to see Chris Brown.
I mean, he's always coming up somewhere, dude.
He is.
Chris Brown.
All right. Final story of the week. Justin Bieber is not a victim of Diddy. So this was one of those rumors or whatever that was flying around in the months leading up to the trial. And to be honest, there was quite a few rumors flying around, was there minors involved? Says if no other celebrity was part of freak-offs, why are they in hiding? Are they in hiding, though?
I don't think they're in hiding. I just think other celebrities didn't want to insert themselves. No one wants to be tied to Diddy one way or the other.
Even if you're at a white party, just having a lot of fun, one of Diddy's white parties, you don't want to be linked in any way.
No, and that's why, all those people, there's a few people I think that have come forward and been I didn't see it.
After the judge called for calm, the prosecution played Prince's recording again. What followed shocked everyone present. Prince didn't make vague claims. He shared 3 clear accusations aimed directly at Diddy. Prince said he had been quietly recording troubling events in the music world for many years. "I keep detailed notes," he said. "Dates, times, who was there, what happened. I've done this since 2007. Legal experts exchanged looks. This wasn't random gossip, it was careful proof from someone who knew the industry well. The first shock came when Prince talked about parties at Diddy's homes. "These aren't ordinary parties," Prince explained. "They're planned. I saw him separate young artists from their teams and put them in impossible situations." He named a Beverly Hills house and described a room that matched the floor plans already shown as evidence. The courtroom was silent. Prince worried that young artists got trapped, thinking they were getting a big chance but ending up exploited. "I've seen it happen to at least 7 artists," he said. The second claim was a direct confrontation between Prince and Diddy at a 2016 Grammy after-party. Prince said he warned Diddy to stop, but Diddy laughed and said, "You might be." "Prince, but you're not untouchable." Prince took that as a threat. Most damaging was Prince revealing secret payments Diddy made to keep people quiet. Millions of dollars matching the prosecution's earlier financial proof. Prince said he saw the contracts signed to keep these deals secret. Prince's voice grew serious. "I'm recording this because I'm scared to speak openly. Powerful people protect him. No one wants to hear what really happens behind closed doors." The recording ended with a chilling message. "If anything happens to me, make sure this reaches the right hands. This is about protecting everyone who can't speak." When the voice stopped, the courtroom was silent. The prosecution had made Prince their most powerful witness, speaking beyond the grave, and the lead lawyer said, "No more questions, Your Honor."
They're very alert, and I think this is one of those testimonies where you have no choice but to pay attention and almost be flabbergasted, obviously, at some of what you're hearing, because it's not only just insight into somebody's sex life, but the details are disturbing at times, especially during that prosecution testimony when we saw some of the alleged abuse, or we saw pictures of her after a beating of some kind, according to her. But the jurors are definitely paying attention. I don't see anyone that's not keeping their focus on Cassie Ventura, and also I noticed them taking notes a lot of times.
And the children, as they were exiting court yesterday, 2 of the girls were seen crying. How emotional have they been in court?
Again, I cannot imagine if that was my father or somebody close to me up there and having to hear details of their sex life. Those are young women. They lost their mother, one of them, the twins. So no one can probably quite understand what it is that they're going through, but I think that's something that you think about on both sides, you know, to look at Alex Fine, which is Cassie Ventura's husband, and think about him having to listen to all that's being said about the type of woman that Cassie Ventura was versus the person that's expecting, you know, their third child together now. So whether it's Combs's family or Ventura's family that's there to support her, her brother and her husband, Alex Fine, I think it's difficult on both sides. Seen him taking notes from the beginning. I see him put his glasses on. He gets very close to the screen when they're reading some of those text messages. So he's paying attention.
Now, Ventura confirmed that she and Combs had conversations about a swingers lifestyle, but that the freak-offs, they were very different.
Yeah, so she talked about this idea where I guess Combs wanted her to watch him have sex with another woman. She said that happened 2 or 3 times, but that he mentioned it frequently.
Kim Porter came up today in testimony. What was the significance there?
The defense said early on that this case would be about infidelity, love, and jealousy. And this is where they brought that up today when they brought up Kim Porter's name. The defense asked Cassie Ventura, are you jealous or were you jealous of Kim Porter? And Ventura sort of contemplated, but did get to this moment where she said, knowing that Combs spent holidays with his family, which meant with Porter, did bother her. And she admitted that. They also pointed out that there was testimony where she talked about being insanely jealous overall as a girlfriend. So, yeah.
We're hearing the judge wants Cassie off the stand tomorrow. Will the prosecution and the defense get equal time?
Yeah, as long as there aren't any additional motions, I think that is the goal, to have her off the stand by tomorrow.
Why do you think that? What's the reasoning behind wanting her off the stand tomorrow?
In the very beginning, Rachel, they told us that she would likely be on that stand 2 to 3 days.
In just 7 seconds, Diddy's outburst changed the whole trial. As soon as Prince's recording stopped, his lawyers immediately went into panic mode. The lead attorney stood up, his voice shaking, as he asked the judge for a 15-minute break to talk to Diddy. Everyone could see how desperate they were, but the judge didn't even think twice. He denied the request and said the trial would continue. Then, he gave Diddy a hard look and warned him not to cause any more disturbances. Diddy's lawyers were shocked. These were high-paid attorneys used to getting what they wanted, but this time, nothing went their way. On the other side, the prosecution team tried to hide their satisfaction. The lead prosecutor kept a serious face, but her assistant smiled a little when Diddy shouted. They exchanged a quick look that said it all. Their plan had worked perfectly. They had set a trap and now had the reaction on record. A legal expert sitting nearby whispered to his colleague, saying this was a disaster for Diddy. For 2 days they had tried to show him as calm and innocent, but that image was shattered in front of the jury. The judge told the jury to ignore the outburst because emotions are not evidence, but every lawyer knows that jurors can't unsee what they've seen. 3 jurors kept watching Diddy closely, eyes glued to his every move after his outburst. Court security didn't take any chances. They placed 2 extra officers near the defense table and had one stand right behind Diddy's chair, ready to step in if needed. The rest of the day was tough for Diddy. The prosecution kept showing evidence linked to Prince's recording. They presented financial documents that matched the payments Prince mentioned, and text messages from witnesses that supported Prince's story. Diddy sat sweating in his expensive suit, his hands shaking so much that his lawyer handed him a legal pad to hold. He refused water when offered. By afternoon, his face looked sick and his confidence had vanished. Just before the court broke for the day, Diddy's lawyers filed an urgent motion to remove Prince's recording from evidence. They claimed it might be fake or altered since Prince was dead and couldn't verify it. Legal experts immediately saw this as a last-ditch effort to save the case. The timing showed how scared his defense team had become. Such emergency motions are used only when there are no other options left, as people left the courtroom. Legal commentators already predicted this day would be the turning point. One TV expert said, "This is when Diddy went from a man fighting false charges to someone who lost control when confronted with the truth." A seasoned court reporter added, "I've covered many celebrity trials, but I've never seen someone's case fall apart so fast." Playing Prince's recording on the third day wasn't an accident. It was a carefully planned move by the prosecution, who had kept this evidence hidden until Diddy started to relax in court. They wanted him to let his guard down before dropping this bomb. According to insiders, the first 2 days were about lulling him into a false sense of security, so the case seemed normal at first. The prosecution spent months verifying Prince's recording. They hired 3 audio experts to confirm it wasn't changed in any way. They knew the defense would challenge it, so they built a strong case to prove its authenticity. The team also studied Diddy's past court behavior and found he typically stays in control for the first 2 days, but relaxes after that. So they timed the recording to play when he would be most weak. The trial was built like a building, starting with witnesses to confirm basic facts, then adding financial proof and texts. So when Prince spoke, everything he said matched the evidence the jury had seen. The prosecution even rehearsed how to play the recording, when to pause it, how to watch Diddy, and how to keep their faces straight when he reacted. What made this strategy deadly was that Prince was the perfect witness. He couldn't be scared, cross-examined, or doubted. He spoke from beyond the grave with a power no one alive could match. By dropping this on day 3, they also reignited media interest when it might have started to fade. It wasn't just about the jury. It was about control of the public story. As the day ended, the difference between the teams was clear. The prosecution was calm and confident, while Diddy's lawyers were panicking, making urgent calls, and frantically searching through legal books. In a few minutes, the power shifted completely. Diddy went from a strong music boss to a man watching his carefully built image fall apart. Prince's voice, clear and strong, had done what years of allegations couldn't, exposed the truth for all to see. The trial continues tomorrow, but nothing will ever be the same. The spirit of a music legend has spoken, and everyone wonders what other secrets may still be locked in Prince's private vault. Who else did he name? What other recordings are still hidden?